Chosen one, the truth is far more disturbing. Open your eyes now. You think you know the truth, but what if the reality is far more disturbing than you could ever imagine? For centuries, hidden powers have woven a great deception, twisting light into darkness, bending truth into lies, and leading countless souls into confusion. This isn't just history, it's happening right now. The world stands at a crossroads, and your spirit has been called to awaken. If you feel your chest tightening, your heart beating faster, it's because you are not here by accident. You are one of the chosen. Why have leaders lied to us? Why do false prophets, corrupted politics, and hollow promises surround us at every turn? What is the secret truth they have kept buried beneath centuries of silence? And most of all, why are you awakening now, in this exact moment of history? In this video, you will uncover the hidden truth behind the great deception, the spiritual awakening of the chosen ones, the divine gifts that will become your armor, and the blueprint for building a new world that no shadow can destroy. You will understand the signs, the mission, and the destiny written over your life since the beginning of time. If you are still here, it means your soul is listening. Most will scroll away, but the chosen will feel this revelation like fire in their chest. Are you one of them? Comment below with the word "awaken," so the world knows you see beyond the illusion. Like this video, subscribe and share, because every time this truth spreads, another soul is set free. Now lean closer, because what you are about to hear will not just shake your beliefs, it will transform your destiny. The truth is no longer hidden, the veil is lifting, and once your eyes open, they can never close again. The world at a crossroads. The world today is not what it pretends to be. On the surface, you see leaders dressed in fine suits, smiling faces on television screens, voices that promise hope and stability. But underneath, shadows are at work. Corruption runs like poison through the veins of politics, media, and false religion. What looks like order is often deception, and what sounds like truth is crafted manipulation. You have been deceived not by accident, but by design, and this realization is the beginning of your awakening. Think about the countless times promises have been made only to be broken. Governments that swore peace while preparing for war, media outlets that claimed honesty while spreading fear, leaders who spoke of God but lived for greed. These are not random mistakes. They are carefully orchestrated illusions meant to keep you blind. Like a maze designed by unseen hands, every turn seems hopeful, yet each path leads deeper into confusion. But the chosen one cannot be fooled forever. When you sense that something is wrong, when you feel that quiet stirring in your spirit, it is the voice of awakening. This is not weakness, it is discernment. The Bible says that even Satan can disguise himself as an angel of light, and so too the systems of this world cloak deception in the garments of authority. Yet your heart, if it listens, knows the difference. There was a time in history when Pharaoh appeared as the supreme power of Egypt, yet Moses, with nothing but a staff and God's command, stood against him. The world trembled before Pharaoh, but the truth was with the one who seemed powerless. That same contrast lives today. The faces on your screens may seem untouchable, but truth does not need power to stand. It is eternal. This is why you feel different. This is why the words of deception no longer settle in your heart. You were not designed to sleep in a prison of lies. You were chosen to awaken, to see the difference between false authority and divine clarity. The world stands at a crossroads. One path leads deeper into deception, the other into revelation. Which way will you walk? Share your thoughts below, because your voice matters in this moment. And let us be honest. Choosing truth is not easy. It means questioning everything you were taught. It means facing ridicule from those still trapped in the illusion. Yet, what is the price of blindness? A life lived in chains. What is the reward of sight? Freedom, clarity, and divine power. This crossroads is not about nations or politicians alone. It is about you. Every choice you make tips the balance of your destiny. Every decision to see clearly brings you closer to divine purpose. Every act of courage inspires others who are silently struggling to wake up. History will not remember the comfort of those who stayed blind. It will remember the bravery of those who opened their eyes. And here lies the lesson. You are not powerless. You are not voiceless. You are a chosen one, and your awakening is the crack in the prison walls of deception. The more of us who see clearly, the more light breaks in, and the less control the shadows can hold. This is why your presence here is not an accident. It is divine timing. You are standing at the intersection of truth and falsehood, and the future is shaped by the path you choose today. The Great Deception. If the crossroads is where the choice is revealed, the Great Deception is the force pulling humanity into blindness. The deception is not crude or obvious. It is subtle, crafted with care, designed to touch your fears and desires. It comes dressed as hope, yet it is hollow. It comes dressed as safety, yet it enslaves. This is why millions do not see it for what it truly is. Look at the media. Every headline crafted to provoke fear, every image designed to divide, every story told not to inform but to manipulate. Fear is the oldest weapon of control. When fear rises, reason lowers, and when reason lowers, deception thrives. This is not random chaos, it is strategy. It is a storm created to keep your mind chained. Consider the power of politics, promises of justice that lead to deeper injustice, leaders who speak of unity while fueling division. They know that a divided people are easier to control, and so they design division like architects of chaos. Yet if you look closely, you can see through it. Have you not felt that unease, that sense that everything you are told does not quite add up? That is your discernment awakening, your spirit whispering, "This is not the truth." And religion, too, has been twisted by deception. Sacred teachings meant for freedom have been reshaped into chains of fear. Leaders claim divine authority, but live for greed, preaching obedience while hiding corruption. The very words of life have been poisoned, not by God, but by those who would use his name for power. This is why so many turn away in despair, not because God failed, but because false shepherds betrayed the flock. But even in this darkness, a light is rising. The chosen ones are beginning to see through the illusion. They recognize the fear tactics, the endless propaganda, the hollow words. They are not satisfied with surface answers. They seek truth deeper than headlines, deeper than politics, deeper than false religion. And this seeking is dangerous to the powers that be. For once you see the deception, you cannot be controlled. The lesson here is clear. Deception thrives only where blindness reigns. The moment you open your eyes, the spell begins to break. That is why your awakening matters. It is not just for you, it is for the world. Your clarity is contagious. Your courage gives others strength. The chosen ones are not isolated voices. They are the beginning of a chorus that shakes the foundations of deception itself. And so the great deception stands exposed. The veil is tearing, the cracks are widening. The question is not whether the truth will win, it already has. The question is whether you will walk in it, whether you will claim your role as a bearer of light in a world desperate for clarity. Comment below. Do you see the signs? Do you feel the awakening in your spirit? Your words may awaken someone else who is still searching. This is where the journey deepens, for when the deception is unveiled, the chosen one must step forward with courage, and that courage is the doorway to awakening. Awakening of the chosen one. To awaken as a chosen one is not to walk into glory for yourself, but to step into a calling far greater than personal ambition. Awakening is not ego, it is responsibility. It is the moment you begin to see what others cannot, when illusions that once looked solid dissolve like smoke, and truth cuts through your heart with undeniable clarity. Suddenly, you recognize that your life was never random, that every tear, every disappointment, every unanswered prayer was shaping you for this moment. You feel it, like a fire stirring in your chest, like the sound of a trumpet deep in your spirit calling you to rise. Imagine standing in a crowded room where everyone wears blindfolds. They stumble, they grasp, they fight over scraps of lies handed to them as truth. But your blindfold slips and light floods in. You see clearly what is happening around you, the traps, the manipulation, the chains that bind them. That is what it means to awaken. You cannot go back to sleep once you've tasted the light, and because you see, you now carry a sacred duty to help others awaken too. Think of Noah, building an ark under a sky that showed no rain. The world mocked him, laughed at his obedience, but he knew what others could not see. Think of Esther, a young woman in a foreign palace, risking her life to speak truth when silence would have been safer. They were chosen, not because they were the strongest or the loudest, but because they were willing to listen, willing to see, willing to act. That same mantle rests on you. The chosen are given a gift called discernment, the ability to pierce through deception. Where others see only appearances, you see intention. Where others are lulled by words, you feel the vibration of truth or falsehood beneath them. This gift is not comfortable. It isolates you, sets you apart, sometimes makes you feel misunderstood. But it is your armor. It is the proof of your divine purpose. And with discernment comes courage, because awakening demands action. You cannot awaken and remain silent in a world drowning in lies. You are called to be a warrior of light, not with swords, but with truth, compassion, and unwavering faith. Your life becomes a living testimony, a beacon guiding others through the storm. Comment below if you have felt this fire in your spirit, that restless knowing that you were made for more, because your words may awaken someone else who is still searching in the dark. The awakening of the chosen is not just about clarity, it is about transformation. The old you dissolves, the timid you, the broken you, the silenced you, those layers fall away. What rises is a new creation, anchored in love, radiant with conviction, unshakable in purpose. You do not just believe truth, you embody it. And in that embodiment, others will see the reflection of what they too were always meant to become. This awakening is the threshold. It is the doorway that separates illusion from destiny. And once you step through, history itself begins to shift, because every chosen one carries the seed of revolution in their soul. That is why the world resists you, why shadows rise against you, because your light threatens their darkness. But do not fear. The same God who awakened you will walk beside you, making your path clear. History of manipulation. To understand the power of your awakening, you must first see the depth of the manipulation that has chained humanity. The Great Deception is not new. It has been the strategy of rulers and empires for thousands of years. History tells the same story. Leaders twisting sacred truths into tools of control, kings using fear to maintain thrones, priests distorting faith into shackles of guilt. This pattern repeats because darkness fears freedom, and truth cannot be contained without force. Think of Rome, demanding allegiance to Caesar as a god while crucifying those who followed Christ. Think of medieval leaders who sold forgiveness as if grace were a commodity to be purchased. Think of modern regimes that censor, silence, and manipulate through propaganda. The tools may change: scrolls, pulpits, newspapers, television, social media, but the design remains the same. Keep people blind, afraid, divided, and they will surrender their freedom willingly. Sacred teachings have been twisted throughout time. Words meant to inspire love have been reshaped to enforce fear. Practices meant to connect with the divine have been weaponized to elevate human power. How many wars were fought not in the name of truth, but in the name of control, masquerading as truth? How many souls turned away from faith, not because God failed them, but because leaders betrayed them? This is the wound carried across generations, a wound you were born to help heal. But cracks are appearing. Whistleblowers expose corruption. Scandals reveal hypocrisy. Secrets once locked in archives now surface. It is as if the very foundations of deception are crumbling under their own weight. And this is why chosen ones awaken now, because the collapse of false systems requires voices of clarity to guide humanity through the chaos. The manipulation of the past was always about fear, but your awakening replaces fear with faith. When Moses led his people out of Egypt, he was confronting the most powerful empire of his time. Yet it was Pharaoh, not Moses, who trembled. Why? Because truth carries a power no empire can contain. That lesson echoes now. Manipulation ends the moment courage begins. And here is the small but powerful truth you must hold. Every system of lies, no matter how vast, is fragile. Lies demand constant defense, constant distraction, constant reinforcement, but truth stands without effort. It does not need defending, it simply is. That is why when one person awakens, the grip of deception weakens. Multiply that awakening, and empires fall. This is your inheritance as a chosen one. To awaken is to break chains, to recognize the patterns of manipulation and refuse to bow. To awaken is to reclaim not only your clarity, but the clarity of generations yet unborn. For what you see today, what you choose today, becomes the foundation of tomorrow's world. And so, history bends toward this moment. The story of manipulation is nearing its end, but every ending demands a beginning. And that beginning comes with courage. The courage to open your eyes, to refuse the comfortable lies, and to embrace the higher truth calling your name. The awakening leads directly to the signs of cracks appearing, and once you see them, you will know that the collapse of deception is not only possible, it is inevitable. Signs of cracks appearing. The walls of deception may look strong, but they are already breaking. The cracks are visible to those who dare to see. Scandals rise to the surface like hidden bones unearthed by time. Whistleblowers risk everything to speak truth. Leaders, once untouchable, stumble, their lies collapsing under the weight of exposure. The great deception cannot hide forever. The veil is tearing, and the light pours in. Look around you. Do you not see how the world itself groans? Institutions once revered are questioned. Voices once silenced find platforms. Ordinary people begin to ask questions that shake entire systems. When a society starts to doubt the very narratives fed to it, the chains of manipulation weaken. You have felt this in your spirit. The unease when headlines no longer satisfy, the hunger for truth when promises prove hollow. That is not paranoia. It is awakening. Every empire in history has shown cracks before collapse. Babylon fell, though its walls seemed impenetrable. Rome crumbled, though its power stretched across continents. Egypt bowed, though it enslaved nations. Each fall began with whispers, with revelations, with ordinary souls daring to say, "This is not truth." Those whispers are echoing again, and you are living in the time when they grow louder. The lesson is powerful. Never mistake silence for stability. What looks unshakable may already be hollow inside. Just as a tree rots from within before it falls, so deception crumbles long before it topples. And you, chosen one, are called to notice the signs. You are called to point and say, "The cracks are here, the storm is coming, but light will prevail." This is not despair. It is hope. Cracks are proof that the prison is failing. Every revelation, every scandal, every truth-teller is a piece of the wall breaking away. And as the wall falls, the world is given a choice: remain blind or open eyes. That choice stands before you now. Will you stay blind, or will you open your eyes? Comment below with the word "see" if you feel the cracks in this age, because your confession may awaken another soul who doubts they are not alone. And remember, cracks are not just in governments or churches or media. They are in families, in communities, even within our own hearts. The awakening begins when you face the cracks within yourself, the doubts, the fears, the chains of old lies. Healing starts when light shines through the fractures of your soul. That is why the cracks are not curses. They are invitations. Invitations to rebuild, to be renewed, to step into the destiny already written for you. The cracks prepare us for what comes next, because once the walls weaken, history always reaches a tipping point. The tipping point. Every age has a moment when silence can no longer hold, when hesitation becomes betrayal, when waiting is no longer safe. That moment is the tipping point, and it is here now. Systems built on lies are trembling. Agendas that thrived in secrecy now unravel in daylight. Time is no longer a luxury. Every second spent in denial strengthens the grip of deception. The urgency you feel in your chest, the racing pulse when you hear these words, that is your spirit recognizing that the hour has come. Think of a scale balanced on the edge. For years, deception has piled weight upon one side: fear, division, manipulation, silence. But every awakening heart, every chosen one who dares to open their eyes, adds weight to the other side. And at first it seems small, insignificant, but then, suddenly, a single choice tips the balance and everything shifts. History has always turned not by the hands of the majority, but by the courage of the few. Will you be one of them? When Moses lifted his staff over the sea, the people stood between Pharaoh's armies and the water's edge. It looked hopeless. Yet one act of faith changed history forever. When David stood against Goliath, the armies trembled, paralyzed by fear. Yet one act of courage turned the tide. When Jesus stood silent before Pilate, refusing to bow to false accusations, heaven itself shifted. The tipping point is never about numbers. It is about truth standing when falsehood screams. This moment is no different. You may feel small, but your awakening is mighty. Your choice carries weight beyond your understanding. Do you realize that every time you choose truth, you weaken deception's grip? Every time you live with integrity, you tear down lies. Every time you speak hope, you silence fear. You are not a spectator in this battle. You are the tipping point. History will not remember the comfortable ones who scrolled past, who chose silence, who mocked those who warned. History remembers those who woke up when it mattered most, and right now you are standing in that same place. What will history write about you? Will it say you turned away, or that you answered the call? Comment below with the word awake. If you feel the urgency in this moment, if you know deep in your heart that hesitation is no longer an option. Here is the truth. The tipping point is not coming, it is here. The veil is torn, the lies exposed, the cracks wide open. Your choice today is the line between blindness and sight, between slavery and freedom, between survival and destiny. Do not wait for another sign. You are the sign. The chosen awaken not by accident, but by design. You were born for this moment, and as you awaken, you will discover that you are not alone. Millions across the world are stirring, hearts burning with the same fire, eyes opening to the same light. Together, the chosen form a movement that no shadow can contain. That is why deception fears you. Because when the chosen rise, the tipping point becomes unstoppable. This is where the path turns from revelation into empowerment. For as the tipping point breaks open, the divine begins to release gifts to strengthen the awakened. And those gifts are not just blessings, they are your armor, your weapons, your light in the storm to come. Divine gifts for the chosen. When the storm rises and the deception deepens, the chosen ones are not abandoned. They are given armor straight from heaven, gifts so radiant and unshakable that no darkness can overcome them. These gifts are not material trinkets. They are living flames of power, planted in your spirit to awaken strength, clarity, and resilience. They are the evidence that you are hand-picked, the proof that your journey is divinely designed. The first gift is clarity of mind. In a world drowning in confusion, clarity is like a sword slicing through fog. Suddenly, the noise of lies cannot drown out truth. The endless voices of propaganda, the constant distraction of media, the fear tactics designed to control, none of them can confuse a chosen one who walks in divine clarity. Your perception sharpens. You can see what others miss. You can feel the deception beneath polished words. You are not lost in the maze. You carry the map in your spirit. Think of Solomon, who asked not for riches or fame, but for wisdom, and God gave him discernment that made nations marvel. That same wisdom is now awakening in you. The second gift is understanding of mission. Countless people wander life asking, "Why am I here? What is my purpose?" But for the chosen, the fog clears. You begin to know, not as theory but as conviction, what you were born to do. Every step, every hardship, every miracle points toward alignment with a mission bigger than yourself. It may not be revealed all at once, but piece by piece, the puzzle comes together. Suddenly, the setbacks make sense. Suddenly, the pain becomes preparation. Suddenly, the unanswered prayers look like divine protection. This understanding anchors you when storms rage, giving you focus when the world loses direction. The third gift is spiritual strength. This is more than endurance of the body. It is resilience of the soul. It is the calm in chaos, the unshakable peace in the face of war, the courage that rises when fear surrounds you. This strength does not come from training or talent. It flows from your connection to the divine. It is the unseen force that held Daniel steady in the lion's den, that gave Esther courage to stand before a king, that empowered Jesus to endure the cross for the joy set before him. That same strength is alive in you, chosen one. These three gifts, clarity, mission, strength, are your armor for the storm. They are not for show, they are for battle. And every time you choose truth, you wield them. Every time you stand in faith, they grow sharper. Every time you speak love into darkness, they blaze brighter. They are the tools not just to survive, but to overcome. Comment below with the word armor if you have felt these gifts stirring within you, because declaring it strengthens you and awakens others. These divine gifts are not random blessings. They are signs of your role in this great unfolding story. You are not here to sit quietly in the background of history. You are here to rise, equipped and empowered, carrying light into places others fear to go. And as these gifts awaken in you, they prepare you for the next unveiling, the moment when the curtain itself is pulled back and the hidden powers behind the world's deception are revealed. The curtain pulled back. For decades, even centuries, secret powers have orchestrated events behind the scenes. Wars that seemed accidental, crises that appeared random, leaders who rose by chance. None of it was coincidence. Like puppet masters in the shadows, they pulled the strings, shaping economies, rewriting laws, and steering societies for their own agendas. But no curtain can remain closed forever. The veil is lifting, and the stage of deception is being exposed for what it truly is. Recent years have brought leaks, scandals, and whistleblowers that shook the world. Secrets that once seemed impossible to uncover now blaze in headlines. Stories of corruption once mocked as conspiracy now prove undeniable. The curtain is not just shaking, it is tearing. And through the rift, the chosen ones see the truth. The hidden hand of manipulation is being revealed, and with it, the opportunity for humanity to reclaim freedom. But revelation is not meant to breed despair. It is meant to birth unity. Across cultures, across nations, across languages, people are awakening together. They begin to realize the battles are not isolated, but interconnected. The struggles of one group echo in another, and division itself is the weapon of deception. Yet when unity rises, division loses power. That is why chosen ones are scattered across the earth, in every culture, every land, because the awakening is global. Unity does not mean sameness. It means honoring diversity while refusing to be divided by it. It means standing together for truth, justice, and compassion, even when our backgrounds differ. It means recognizing that we are one body with many parts, each carrying unique gifts but moving toward one mission. This unity is not weakness, it is strength. It is the proof that humanity's spirit cannot be crushed. This is the great unveiling. Not only are the powers of deception being exposed, but the light of awakening is spreading at the same time. Like wildfire, it leaps from heart to heart, from chosen one to chosen one, until nations feel the tremors of truth. That is why the curtain cannot be restored. Too many eyes have seen, too many hearts have awakened. The world cannot go back to sleep. The lesson is this: what is revealed cannot be hidden again. The more you awaken, the more you see, and the more you see, the freer you become. And your freedom inspires others to tear off their own blindfolds. The curtain has been pulled back, and the stage of deception stands naked before the world. You, chosen one, are not here to fear what is revealed. You are here to lead in the light of it. So let the revelation stir your soul. Let it ignite your courage. Let it heal the wounds of division and remind you that together we rise. Comment below with the word light if you feel the curtain pulling back in your life. If you sense truth breaking through lies, because your confession may be the spark that helps another see. And as the curtain falls away, what comes next is preparation. For when deception is exposed, the storm of change grows fierce, and the chosen must be ready, not with fear, but with faith, not with panic, but with divine preparation. The storm is not the end, it is the beginning of a new world waiting for your light. Preparation for the storm. The storm is coming, not a storm of rain and thunder, but a storm of truth colliding with deception, a storm that will shake everything built on lies. And the chosen ones must be ready. Preparation is not fear, it is wisdom. Just as Noah built the ark before the flood, just as Joseph stored grain before the famine, you are called to prepare not in panic, but in faith. Preparation begins with the inner world. In times of chaos, your greatest refuge will be peace of mind and heart. That peace does not come from ignoring reality, but from anchoring yourself in divine truth. Meditation, prayer, and stillness are not luxuries now. They are lifelines. Take time each day to silence the noise of media and voices that seek to stir fear. Enter the secret place where your soul can breathe, where you can hear the whisper of divine guidance. That whisper will guide you more surely than any headline ever could. Preparation also requires the body. The vessel you walk in must be strong enough to endure pressure. Care for your health as if it were holy ground, because it is. Eat with intention, move with strength, rest with reverence. The body is the temple that carries your mission. A weary, neglected vessel cannot hold the light you are meant to shine. By caring for your body, you build resilience for the days when stress and struggle weigh heavy. Preparation extends to community. Isolation makes you vulnerable, but unity makes you unshakable. Surround yourself with those who share your hunger for truth and your commitment to light. Choose companions who lift your spirit, not drain it. Seek voices of wisdom, not noise. Together, you form a network of strength that can weather any storm. A single flame may flicker, but a fire of many cannot be extinguished. And preparation reaches into the spirit. Above all, this battle is spiritual, and your connection to the divine is your strongest shield. Strengthen it daily. Speak truth aloud, declare life over your path, and immerse yourself in promises that cannot fail. The Psalms remind us, God is our refuge and strength, a very present help in trouble. That truth is the bedrock on which you must stand. When the storm rages, your roots must go deeper than fear, deeper than doubt, deeper than the shaking around you. Think of a tree in the middle of a hurricane. Branches may bend, leaves may scatter, but if its roots are deep, it stands unbroken. You are that tree. Preparation is not about storing fear, it is about growing roots. Deep roots of faith, wisdom, and resilience that no wind can tear from the ground. Comment below with the word "ready" if you are preparing your heart, your mind, your spirit for what is coming. Your words may strengthen someone who feels unprepared, reminding them they are not alone. The storm will not last forever. Every storm passes, and when it does, a new world will emerge. But how you prepare today will determine how you stand tomorrow. This is why preparation is not optional. It is your sacred responsibility. And as you prepare, you step into the discovery of true divine power. True divine power. True power is not what the world tells you it is. The world glorifies wealth, control, dominance, the applause of the crowd. But those are fragile illusions. They crumble when storms strike. True divine power cannot be shaken because it does not come from ego. It comes from alignment with truth, with service, with love. The chosen ones are not called to dominate, but to uplift, not to exploit, but to empower, not to seek glory, but to reveal light. Divine power flows through humility. Think of Jesus, who washed the feet of his disciples, who healed the sick without seeking fame, who carried a cross instead of a crown. His power was not in armies or riches, it was in authority rooted in love. That is the kind of power awakening in you, the power to speak life into dead places, the power to turn chaos into peace, the power to manifest abundance not through greed but through integrity. This power shows itself in everyday life. It is the calm you bring to your family when fear grips them. It is the wisdom you carry into your work, making decisions that serve justice instead of selfishness. It is the compassion that leads you to forgive when anger would be easier. True divine power is not loud, it is steady. It is not flashy, it is eternal. And when the world sees it in you, they will recognize it as something they cannot explain, but cannot deny. Here lies the small but mighty lesson. Power without love is corruption, but love with power is transformation. You are not called to be powerless. You are called to wield divine power with integrity. This is why the chosen are entrusted with it, because they understand it is not for self, but for service. Look at history. Kings who ruled by fear left ruins. Leaders who, exploited by greed, vanished in shame. But those who served with love left legacies that endure. The same truth is yours. The legacy of your life will not be measured by what you gather, but by what you give. Not by how high you climb, but by how many you lift. That is true divine power. And do not mistake divine power for weakness. It is the strongest force in the universe. It opens doors no man can close. It breaks chains no hand can hold. It creates abundance in the desert and hope in despair. It is the power that raised the dead, parted seas, and spoke worlds into existence. That power is alive in you, chosen one. This power is your birthright. You were not meant to crawl in shadows, but to walk in light. You were not created to bow to lies, but to stand in truth. When you embrace divine power, you become unshakable, unbreakable, unstoppable. Comment below with the word power if you feel this calling, because your declaration may awaken courage in someone else who has forgotten their strength. Preparation for the storm leads you here to the revelation of divine power. And once you taste it, once you live in it, you will no longer fear the collapse of false systems. You will no longer bow to fear or deception, because you will know that true divine power does not just survive storms, it commands them to reveal the light. And that light is preparing the way for the building of a new world. Building the new world. When the dust of deception settles and the storm has passed, the chosen ones will not just survive, they will build. This is the calling of your destiny, to shape a new world rooted not in greed or fear, but in truth, justice, and healing. The foundations of the old order are crumbling, but in the rubble lies the raw material for creation. You were chosen not to mourn what is collapsing, but to architect what is rising. This new world begins with vision. Without vision, people perish, but with vision, they thrive. Imagine communities no longer ruled by division, but woven together in compassion. Imagine leaders chosen not for their charisma, but for their integrity. Imagine systems that serve humanity rather than enslave it. This is not a fantasy. It is the future written into the hearts of the awakened. The seeds of this new world are already inside you. Building requires action. Words alone cannot heal. The chosen must rise as builders, healers, teachers, and leaders. Every choice you make plants a brick in the foundation of tomorrow. When you forgive instead of hate, you lay down stone. When you act with honesty in a corrupt system, you hammer truth into place. When you speak love into despair, you raise walls of hope. Do not underestimate the power of your daily decisions. They are the architecture of eternity. The new world will not be built by the few, but by the many. Every chosen one contributes. Every awakened heart adds strength. It is a symphony of souls working in harmony, each gift complementing the other. This unity is the weapon that no shadow can destroy. Comment below with the word future if you believe you are part of this building, because your faith sparks courage in others who fear they are too small to matter. The building of the new world demands patience, because what is divine is never rushed. Just as the Temple of Solomon took years to rise, so too will this era of light emerge, stone by stone, choice by choice, soul by soul. Yet the promise remains, a world reborn in truth, unshakable in justice, radiant with compassion. The rewards of the faithful. For those who endure, for those who remain steadfast in truth while the world collapses, a harvest is prepared. The rewards of the faithful are not merely material, but spiritual, eternal, overflowing with grace. They are the blessings that testify you did not stand in vain, that your tears watered the soil of something greater. The first reward is peace. Where once there was turmoil, a deep calm takes root. No chaos outside can disturb it, because it flows from within. This peace is not the absence of conflict, but the presence of unshakable assurance. It is the same peace that sustained Jesus asleep in the boat while the storm raged around him. That peace will guard your heart. The second reward is clarity. Confusion dissolves. Questions that haunted you find answers. Paths that once seemed blocked open in divine timing. This clarity is a gift not only for your sake, but for those who will look to you for guidance. Your discernment becomes a lighthouse for others lost in fog. The third reward is joy. Not shallow happiness dependent on circumstances, but deep, enduring joy that glows even in trials. Joy is the strength of the chosen. It fuels perseverance, it inspires hope, it lifts weary souls. And this joy becomes contagious, spreading to families, communities, nations. The fourth reward is abundance. Not greed-driven wealth, but provision aligned with your mission. Resources flow to you because they are meant to flow through you. Money, influence, opportunities, they come not to inflate ego, but to empower service. This abundance is divine trust, given because you proved faithful. The rewards are not just for you, they are meant to overflow. You are blessed to be a blessing. When peace anchors you, you spread calm. When clarity guides you, you light the way. When joy fills you, you inspire hope. When abundance surrounds you, you lift others. The cycle of grace multiplies, weaving blessings into every life you touch. Comment below with the word blessed if you believe these rewards are already flowing into your life, because speaking it aligns you with it. The faithful chosen are honored not because the path was easy, but because they refused to bow to lies. Their rewards echo not just in this life, but in eternity, and those rewards become the fuel for the next stage: restoration and renewal. Restoration and renewal. After the storm, after the battle, after the breaking, comes the promise of restoration. What was stolen is returned. What was broken is healed. What was hidden is revealed. Renewal is not just survival, it is transformation. The chosen ones are not called to crawl out of ruins, but to rise with wings, restored and radiant. Restoration begins within. The wounds of betrayal, the scars of fear, the chains of doubt, they begin to fall away. The divine healer touches your soul, and what once bled with pain begins to pulse with purpose. The fears that silenced you lose their power. The shame that bound you dissolves in grace. You are restored to your original design, whole, worthy, chosen. Renewal brings back dreams long buried. The passions you thought were lost forever ignite again. Gifts you once doubted shine brighter than ever. Talents hidden beneath years of neglect emerge with new strength. It is as if your spirit itself is reborn, rising from ashes with fire in its eyes. This renewal extends beyond you. Families torn apart by lies find reconciliation. Communities divided by fear discover unity. Even nations fractured by greed glimpse healing. The chosen carry renewal not only for themselves but for everyone they touch. Their very presence becomes medicine. Their words become healing. Their actions become proof that light cannot be extinguished. The lesson of restoration is simple. Nothing wasted, nothing lost. Every pain, every tear, every disappointment becomes seed for renewal. The enemy meant to break you, but instead you were built stronger. The world meant to silence you, but instead your voice carries further. What was once weakness becomes testimony. This is why you were chosen, not just to endure, but to be restored, renewed, and released into destiny. Comment below with the word renew if you are ready for this healing to flow in your life, because speaking it is an act of faith that accelerates the promise. And so the faithful stand restored, renewed, radiant. Their journey through deception, through awakening, through storm and trial was not in vain, because now they rise, not as survivors, but as builders of a new era, carriers of rewards, vessels of healing. And what comes next is even greater, the unfolding of destiny and legacy, where the chosen step into impact that transforms generations. The journey of the chosen one is never about comfort. It is about calling. From the very beginning, the veil was torn before your eyes, so you could see what others could not. You have walked through the great deception, faced the storm, received the divine gifts, and now you stand at the edge of destiny and legacy. This is not the end of a story. It is the awakening of your story. The world may tremble with chaos, but inside you burns a light that no shadow can extinguish. That light is your inheritance, your purpose, your reason for being here right now in this exact moment in history. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine the generations before you, those who dreamed of freedom but never saw it, those who whispered of truth but were silenced, those who carried faith through darkness so that you could carry it forward. Their blood, their tears, their prayers flow into your veins. You are their answer. You are their fulfillment. You are the one chosen not just to endure the world as it is, but to help create the world as it was always meant to be. That is why the words chosen one, awakening, destiny, divine mission, truth revealed have been echoing through your heart. It was never random. It was a call. Every scar you carry is not shame, but proof that you survived the deception. Every loss you endured is not the end, but the planting of seeds for renewal. Every battle you fought in silence was shaping the warrior within you. And now you stand at the threshold of a new era, carrying peace, clarity, joy, and abundance, not just for yourself, but for every soul you will touch. This is the reward of the faithful, the assurance that nothing was wasted, that everything was working together for your awakening. But here is the truth that strikes deeper. Awakening is not only for your sake. Your life is not just about surviving. It is about transforming. Every word you speak carries weight. Every choice you make echoes into eternity. You are not only writing your own chapter, you are shaping the destiny of those who come after you. The children who will inherit this earth, the families who will look for hope, the weary souls searching for light, They are waiting for you to rise. And when you rise, you give them permission to believe that they can rise too. Think about this. When David picked up his stone, it wasn't just for himself, it was for a nation. When Esther stepped into the throne room, it wasn't just for her survival, it was for her people. When Jesus carried the cross, it wasn't for his own deliverance, it was for the salvation of generations. And when you choose truth over lies, when you choose awakening over blindness, when you choose light over shadows, you are stepping into that same lineage of courage. This is the legacy of the chosen. But legacy is not automatic. It is forged in decision. The tipping point has already come. The cracks are already appearing. The curtain has already been pulled back. The question now is simple yet eternal. What will you do with what you have seen? Will you scroll away, return to blindness, and live as if you never heard this truth? Or will you stand, take your place, and live as the warrior of light you were created to be? The choice is yours, and every heartbeat is a reminder that time waits for no one. Let this be the lesson etched into your soul. Hesitation strengthens deception, but courage breaks chains. If you have felt this message burn inside your chest, if you have felt the undeniable pull that these words are not just information, but revelation, then it means you are ready. Ready to live differently, ready to love boldly, ready to build the new world with your hands and your heart. And this is where you and I connect in the most profound way. Because if you are still here, it means your spirit has recognized its reflection in these words. So let me speak directly to you. Your awakening is not small. It matters. It is divine. And if this message has spoken to your soul, if it has lifted your eyes even a little higher, then I invite you to walk with me on this journey. Comment below with the word legacy if you feel this truth in your bones, because your words may awaken someone else tonight. Share what part of this message shook you the most, because the conversation we create together becomes part of the awakening itself. If you feel your heart saying yes, if you sense the fire of purpose stirring inside you, then support this mission in the ways that resonate with you. Like this video if it gave you clarity, subscribe if you want to keep walking deeper into these revelations, and share it with someone who needs to hear that they are not lost, they are chosen. And if you feel this video has brought healing to your soul or light into your darkest days, I invite you to give back a little energy so I can keep creating and sharing messages like this. Every gesture, no matter how small, is priceless. It is not just support for me, it is fuel for this mission, a way of saying yes to the spreading of truth in a world desperate for light. From the bottom of my heart, thank you. The journey of the chosen one is not easy, but it is sacred. And remember this always, you are not just here to survive, you are here to transform generations. That is your destiny, that is your power, that is your legacy. The deception is ending, the storm is passing, the light is rising, and you, chosen one, are the proof that hope is alive. Now go forward with courage. Go forward with healing words, high energy, and the unshakable truth burning in your soul. The future is not waiting for someone else. It is waiting for you. And when you rise, the world rises with you.